Well, I'm John Lyons, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of my experience with the TR3. First of all, if the ground's perfect, if we have absolutely perfect ground, it really doesn't take a great piece of equipment, to work that ground to get it rideable. Most of us don't have perfect ground every place that we ride or in our arenas, and so what I look for is a piece of equipment that will do several different things. Number one is that it will last. In other words, if I work the ground, that I don't have to repair the equipment after I work the ground. Two is that it'll actually work the ground. I can't give you a better demonstration than what we had in our arena here last night. It had rained, there were a bunch of dirt clods, and this ground just turns to rock. And I mean, the ground is so amazingly hard. Now, I've got several different types of pieces of equipment. I've used rototillers, like a garden rototiller, heavy duty rototiller. We've used that on this ground, and it works, but the problem is it takes about 9 hours, 8 to 9 hours to do this 3-acre arena. And then at the end of that, I have to repair the rototiller because it wears out the teeth in the rototiller. Actually, and it'll start out with 2.5-inch blades, and it'll go down to about a 1/2-inch blade, which is about a $350 bill. So when that ground gets that hard, I've just not found any piece of equipment other than the TR3, which I can actually show you how that actually worked. I mean, I spent about 2 hours last night on this arena, and where it was absolutely not rideable at all, it is now rideable, and people were using it last night, and they're doing a clinic in it today. So the TR3, I just can't say enough about it as far as doing a great job on a normal arena. But if you're like me, if you have places that are not normal, an arena that is not the perfectly manicured arena, and yet you need to make it rideable, the TR3 is outstanding. Even from last night, zero wear on the piece of equipment, zero damage, zero wear, and that's such a huge thing, because once I use the equipment, if I have to stop and fix it or repair it, or I see a lot of wear, then the piece of equipment is just going to wear out sooner. So I mean, I absolutely love this thing. Now, I don't use it just on the arena. We have Jody and I have about 65 acres here, and we're doing lots of projects, lots of improving projects from down at the river. We're working on clearing land, and once I clear all the land off with the bulldozer, then I come back with the TR3 and smooth it out, and I'll show you that area. I use it on open fields where I'm trying to get it, actually get the ground ready to plant grass on. So I use it for that. I've used it on developing some trail areas. It's just great for that, because once I get the brush out of the way and I bring the TR3 through it once or twice, then it really clears it off, and it makes it level, and it really makes it nice. So I don't use my TR3 like a lot of trainers, and that would be in a perfectly manicured arena where the ground's perfect and everything's hunky-dory. I use the heck out of this thing, and I abuse it, to some extent, and I just can't tell you enough of how much I respect this piece of equipment and how well it works. It's just a terrific piece of equipment, and I would recommend it to anybody for any kind of arena. If you've got the perfect place, congratulations. It'll do perfect for you. If you don't have the perfect place, and you don't have the perfect soil, and you don't have the perfect ground, it will do outstanding for you. It is a great, great piece of equipment. So I'm glad and tickled to recommend it to anybody. Why is footing important? And like last night, if we would have tried to ride on this arena the way it was, what would have happened? Well, physically we absolutely could not. You'd cripple a horse within a few minutes. The dirt clods were actually like softball size and bigger rocks. So it'd be like riding your horse over that continually and trying to trot him, etc. You'll end up crippling your horse or making him go lame, stone bruises, all that kind of stuff. Ground's important. I mean, we all trail ride our horse, and obviously the ground's not perfect for trail riding, but then again, we're not doing a lot of loping, a lot of lead changes, a huge amount of stress over areas like if you're going down a creek bed or something. I mean, you're taking it pretty easy. You're not jamming your horse through that. You're also, in that if you're crossing a creek bed or on a trail and the ground's not good, again, it's not something you're loping on. It's not something that you're riding and trying to develop a performance horse on where you're really working his legs hard. So ground is critical when you're trying to keep a horse sound. Ground is critical when you're trying to train the horse, because you don't necessarily, for performance, you don't want that horse worried about if he's going to step in a pothole, if he's going to step and it's going to hurt when he steps, or if you're trying to teach him to stop and you ask him to stop and he stops and he hurts his legs. In other words, if the ground skins him or he hits a rock and it bumps the back part of his legs, then the next time he's not going to try to stop so hard. So ground is important for keeping your horse sound. Ground is important for developing a really, really nice performance horse. Ground is important for a young horse while you're training him, so he can focus on the training and not on worried about whether he's going to step on something that's going to hurt him, step in a hole, etc. Why is ground now so important? It's because we're riding these horses younger, we're riding them harder when we're riding them, we're putting them through more stress in the training, and we find out that we don't have to deal with nearly as many leg problems. There were lots of bowed tendons, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and that was just an accepted part, of the training, and you hoped you would get through it and not have a bowed tendon, not have a damaged leg or a crippled horse. But what we have found is there's a lot of things we can do to save, let's say 50 or 75% of the horses that went unsound 10 years ago by paying a lot more attention to the ground and what our horse is traveling over. So the recent concern is really, the concern was always there. It's the education and the opportunities weren't there to really learn how to improve this ground and make it better for us. As a horse owner and a trainer, what's really good with certain companies is you see companies giving back to the horse owners. It isn't that they're just selling a product, but they're also, and that's what their job is to sell that product and make the income off that product. But what's great about some of the companies in the industry today is they're giving back to the industry. Absolute Innovations is doing something to give back to the horse community. You'll find out, not only will you find out about horse arenas and dirt and that kind of stuff, but you can find out about training, you can find out about all kinds of different things. It isn't that they're just trying to sell you a product, is they're going to give back so much more. They're going to have top trainers on that on their website where you can actually have chats with those top trainers. There's going to be just all kinds of different rooms, areas that you can go into that this company is giving back. Check out their website, see what all they have for the horse owners.